Welcome back to the Human Nexus podcast. My name is Andrew Brazis. I am a marketing professional and private chef.
Welcome back. My name is Miss Laura Machiste. I am an online tarot reader, holistic massage therapist, and energy coach. And today we are talking all things Taurus and Taurus season. I personally have a South Node in Taurus. Andrew,
Mhm.
what do you have?
I have for sure Taurus rising. I think I have two other signs in Taurus as well, but Taurus rising for sure.
Yeah, I feel like Taurus rising, you have like the very stoic vibe. Is that how you say it?
Stoic. That's funny
Yeah.
because when I first started therapy, that was like one of the main things was like, she's like, you're too stoic. You need to like get in touch with your emotions and your feelings. And I was like, "Well, do I though? Now I'm here and I do those things. But yeah, that's interesting that you said that. What else? Like I want to hear what your perception of or what you know about Tauruses are, and I want to see how much of that I resonate with as a Taurus rising.
Okay, well, Taurus rules the bull, the horns that go like this, opposed to the ram, sort of
Yeah.
similar, but not necessarily. Taurus also rules the second house of money, resources, finances. When I think of Taurus, I think of like bank accounts and
Mhm.
investments. Taurus also has a very slow way of doing things. I feel like on a super evolved Taurus would be somebody who practices patience. They think before they react. I would say an unevolved Taurus is just going to like slam you like a bull is charging at you. I would say sometimes unevolved Taurus could have they have trouble like Taurus energies will stay in something just because they're comfortable, even though they know it's not good. They're
Hmm.
very big on comfort and those types of things where, they could be super comfortable at their job, but they know it's really toxic. But the comfort of the steady paycheck and the routine of when they go in and when they leave, it keeps them there. Comfort is like really big. So, like in an evolved Taurus would know how to break through a comfort situation to put themselves first if they had to. But, just like with every sign, there's evolved and unevolved. But I find so Taurus energy ruled by Venus. Taurus does have a connection to Libra there. They're both ruled by Venus. Taurus people, I would say Venus ruled people are very attractive. They just are have like a very symmetrical face. Like things are not like, like I feel like you have a very symmetrical face, if that makes sense. And it
Yeah, it
would
does.
make sense, Taurus rising. I would say they just exude this sense of like, the quote, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Usually Taurus and Libra people, they're more captivating on a general level where
Mhm.
that kind of saying doesn't really flow with them. If it's kind of like if they exude that beauty, that's just how they are, who they, I don't know, just what they, were born looking. Like if you look at like Libras have the same thing. Like think of Libra ruled by Venus and the balance, very balanced, like face or body or like things along those lines to where they just seem more symmetrical. I don't know. I just like get that with them just from like what I know about Venus. I would say the super, 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 super interesting side of Taurus that I can resonate to with my South Node being in Taurus. So South Node would kind of be like your past lives, like what you came to this lifetime to let go of.
Mhm.
And I see it happen all the time. Taurus energy overspends. Specifically can overspend on like things that bring them pleasure, things that are like luxurious. On the unevolved sense of Taurus, overindulgence, eating a lot, eating too much. So, for example, when I was growing up, I did have that like binge and purge situation at some points in times. And then when I got an astrology reading and I told them that, they were like, well, you have a South Node in Taurus. So you are actually came to this lifetime to fix your relationship with overindulging on food and money. And I was like,
Dang.
that makes a lot of sense.
I resonate really heavily with what you were just saying. I think the patience part, I feel like that's been one of my strongest attributes. I'm just like, I don't know, patient to a fault. in all things like relationship and business. In my job when I wasn't running my own business. I think too, like when I was younger, I wasn't patient at all. Like I was very much like I would just run into things. So I really, really resonate with that. I think too, I'm reading here like Love of Luxury. I think that's like very much on brand. Like I used to overspend like growing up, but now I'm not gonna like spend on things unless it's something that I'm like, one, it's like high, not necessarily name brand, but like good quality. I'm like, that's really, really important. So quality over quantity for sure. I think too, you had said something else. There was after the patience, there was one more thing that I meant to touch on.
Comfort zone, staying in
Yes.
things when you're too comfortable.
Yeah, so
Well, staying in
ter
things because you're comfortable.
that's like a terrible fault, especially like having a son in Leo. Like I just love comfort all around. And so there's been so many like relationships or jobs where I was like, this is like you said, like it's the paycheck, it's okay, it's comfortable. I know the routine. But then I also am like, this isn't getting me anywhere, or this relationship isn't fit for me. So like on so many levels. And then now I feel like I can notice that really quickly, and I'm like, yeah, no. And then I'm just done. Because like then also on the flip side of that, sitting in the discomfort sucks. Like I feel like exponentially more than I don't know how other people's experiences are, but for me, I like just I'm not shy of discomfort, but I would much, much, much rather be comfortable, of course. So resonate with that fully, all across the board. How does
I
that
mean,
go ahead?
it's funny too because you're Taurus rising and I'm an Aries rising. We're basically, even though we're not opposites of
Yeah, I was gonna
zodiac
say,
sign,
yeah.
like you could tell the difference by the way that we even speak. Like I speak with like a lot of more like to myself, if that
Yeah.
makes sense, where you have that like, maybe your hands aren't moving as much.
Hmm.
Maybe you're just like, and it's funny because if you're watching this, you can kind of just see the difference right away.
Yeah.
But my best friend, she's a Taurus, and I
Mm.
would be like, something would happen to us, and we'd be so excited. And I would look at her and I'd be like, aren't you excited? And she's like, yeah, inside, I am. I
Yeah,
am.
I'm the exact same way. Like, I swear I'm excited right now. You just can't see it.
Yes.
That's so true. So, so true. Okay, so how does Taurus energy apply to like Taurus season? Because we're in Taurus season until May 20th. So what are your takes on that?
It's a very grounding time. It's a good money making season. Like if you want to start a new job or if you want to like add an extra revenue
Mm,
or a side hustle to the side or invest some money, Taurus season does favor things along those lines. Taurus even season, even on the, I guess, other spectrum of it, because they have that big comfort thing. Taurus
mm,
season could help you get out of your comfort zone in a grounded way instead of like I would say if you were trying to break through something, if you're trying to break through a comfort zone in Aries season or Gemini season, it would be more out of like impulse, where Taurus season gives you that like let's break out of the comfort zone in a way that can also make us feel comfortable. If like I know that sounds
yeah.
weird,
No, no,
but
that makes sense.
I feel like a lot of second house stuff with like if you want a new job, now's the time to
Hmm.
get a new job. If you want to change jobs, add something, take a chance on yourself selling something. Like maybe you make bread and you want to make a bread Instagram and sell your sourdough to people in the neighborhood. Taurus
Hmm.
is a good time to do that. Or Taurus season itself is a good time to do that. But I definitely feel like on the flip side, and because of that, I guess you could say overindulgence that they have at some points in time, I would be careful overspending on in Taurus season. Like you could make a purchase during this season that puts
You
you in a
regret
good amount
later.
of debt in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting too. I think the overindulgence part, like growing up, I was an addict. And so that was just, I mean, overindulgence has been my crutch.
And it's your rising sign, so you were doing it out of impulse of reacting to what was happening to you when you
Yeah.
were in that. And that's
Yeah.
what I think is big for Taurus as well, because when I was emotionally overeating and overspending, it really was emotion, that
Yeah.
was driving the overindulgence. and it's just like a way to cope to where
Hmm.
like I'm gonna go like that's why they what do they call it? Retail therapy,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
it's a thing. It's really crazy, but it
So
happens.
so it being Taurus season, it's I guess I mean one of the points of this podcast is like, especially on the astrology side, is like how do we navigate this? So like I would say being mindful of not or being mindful of overindulgence, like being mindful of discomfort and like staying too comfortable right now, making smart money decisions. What else? What am I missing here?
I feel like that's pretty much the gist of it. I feel like there could also be this energy of Taurus season, just being aware of being grounded. Taurus
That's where I
really,
was. Yeah.
yeah, like favors being grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus people, like you may have gotten this in your life a couple of times as well, where people feel more grounded in your presence. And
Mm-hmm.
then when they leave your presence, it's almost like now they're all chaotic again. And it was just kind of like, I thought you were just feeling better. We were just together like 2 hours ago and you were all grounded and now you're at your house and now you're freaking out. Like what happened? It's like
Yeah.
literally the presence of the person. Like I've experienced that firsthand with my best friend who's a Taurus. She has helped me so much with like my impulse and my reactions and like thinking before speaking or like how can I deliver this in a way that is not so chargeable way, and
Yeah.
like all right, how can I approach this in a way where it it brings a grounded outcome. So I do
Mm-hmm.
feel like Taurus season could bring about a head of where people aren't grounded or aren't stable in their own energy. And sometimes that can cause clashes between people. But yeah, maybe there's something that has gone on in the relationship. But some of the times during Taurus season, when that happens, it's actually just because the instability in self is being highlighted a little bit
Yeah,
during
yeah,
the season.
that's where I was gonna go. Like, I feel like Taurus season, like we're like peak spring probably getting there. So it's like being present. And if you're not used to that energy that you're in, like being in that present energy is like destabilizing to like your identity in a lot of ways. And I think too, like just thinking of like spring and movement, it's a bit of a slower energy. Like things pick up in summer or like the beginning of a spring and Aries season. It's like fast, quick movement. Like you're just trying to like get everything together, get everything like spring cleaning and all of that. And then now things are slowed down so much, or starting to slow down in a lot of ways. But like grounded, I think is the key word there for sure.
Yeah, it's like perfect that you brought that up. It's like you read my mind because I was thinking of nature
Mm,
correlating to it all. And it's like an Aries season when spring starts, you get those trees or those plants that do sprout up very quickly. But then you have these other trees and plants where it's kind of like, what timeline are you on? Like
yeah.
how did these spring out overnight? But
Hmm.
these ones are taking weeks and weeks and weeks. It's kind of like that transition of Aries season into Taurus season. Like, all right, yeah, the greenery is here, but we're not at full form summer
Yeah.
greenery, flowers everywhere. It's kind of like you see the sprouts of it, like the sprouts come up during Aries season, but the amount of time it takes for the blossom to happen, I
Hmm.
feel like is Taurus season.
And I feel like that naturally makes just like I mean naturally makes me slow down because now when I'm like out on a walk, I'm like I want to look at everything because it hasn't been I haven't seen green for 6 to 8 months or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool how that plays in. What else? I feel like that covers everything,
I
unless
don't
you
know.
have anything
I
else
don't
to.
know what was it was like our brains are connected and we're just like
Yeah, and that's also we're breaking into like 20, what's that, like 23, 24 minutes, I think.
okay, so maybe like another 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah. So we also have the moon, the full moon. I mean, this happens tomorrow. So when this episode will be out, it'll be past time, but it's a Scorpio full moon on May 1st. How does that affect Taurus season? Because Scorpio is like going deep, 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 deep. What's that connected to Pluto? Full moon is like illumination, typically. So like what is your take, feedback on that?
So it's interesting because like I'm very a basic astrology individual, but there
Hmm.
are some things that I have awareness of and like I don't know if this is new awareness information or I did know this. Sometimes I just don't remember how long I knew something when I forget about it and re-remember it. But Scorpio and Taurus are sister signs. So
Hmm.
during the season, like in Aries season, we had a Libra moon. During
Hmm.
Taurus season, we'll have a Scorpio moon. I can't think of Gemini sister sign right now, so I'm not even going to try. But like for example, during Leo season, we will have some type of an Aquarius lunation. So it's almost interesting that it does do that because it kind of brings the two opposites to a head during the season of whichever. Like for example, in Scorpio season, we will have a Taurus lunation.
Hmm.
So because they are sister signs, so I do have a Taurus south node and I do have a Scorpio north node. So Scorpio would be Taurus's total opposite, which, you know, Scorpio energy, they cannot be in an uncomfortable situation for too long because they will start naturally shedding and naturally feeling the need to transform and evolve. So having a Scorpio full moon in Taurus season kind of says like, all right, so where are you not grounded? Where are you unstable? Where are you doing too much? Like, how can we figure out a way to transform that and release what is being too extra in your energy or being or causing too much confinement? Because how can you transform in a confined area? You would need space.
Hmm.
So, like how Taurus energy on the unevolved sense of things stays in comfortable situations, even though they're not good for them. But Scorpio, on the total other hand, says, I need space to evolve. So, how can I create that space? So, there could be a lot of like, I would say it would be more self over like maybe, there are like, we attract in relationships or dynamics to see ourselves clearer.
Yeah.
Relationships are all mirrors. So yeah, it could happen on a relationship level, but around this time and this season specifically, people might find their self reflecting a little bit more on themselves of kind of like, well, where am I doing too much? Where am I doing too little? Where am I staying
Hmm.
stagnant? Where am I not breaking out of my comfort zone? And Scorpio people, they need that. Like I've in my life have been 1,000 different people and I'm not done yet. I know I will continuously evolve into becoming a different person throughout me getting older, but I feel like it kind of brings that to a head with that opposite of you're in the season and now you're having a full moon of the opposite sign, the sister sign.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I think too, like it happening in Taurus season, it shouldn't be such like what's the word? Like a dramatic shakeup in my viewpoint, because it is Taurus season, so it should be a little bit more stable and connected, but definitely deeply rooted for sure.
Yeah, that's literally what the reading said for Leos.
Oh, really?
I just did the reading and I said to them, because I try to take the season out of it, as
Hmm.
I try to just like, cards, give me what you're going to give me. I try not to
Yeah.
know other information because I don't want my subconscious to like try to create something from
Hmm.
not from knowing something, kind of what I said about with the astrology stuff. But anyways, when the reading was coming through, I was kind of like, yeah, this it seems like it could feel a little intense or uncomfortable, but this is one of those moments where it looks like it's stabilizing something in a blink of an eye. And the metaphor that I gave to the Leos at the end of the reading, which it doesn't matter me saying this because it's not going to go out anytime soon, but you don't have to watch it now. What I
I'll still
saw in my
watch it.
mind's yeah, what I saw in my mind's eye was a room filling up with smoke. And like the person just sitting there, like, all right, I could still kind of see. But then once more and more and more and more and more and more and more smoke comes through, it starts to confine you. And then at one point, you're not going to be able to see through.
Yeah.
And what I felt the reading was giving was that moment of like, oh shit, I can't see. And now I can't kind of breathe. What do
Hmm.
I have to open a window. So that was the metaphor that I gave them, that it was kind of like the smoke is getting so much, kind of like what you were asking me before about like having the Scorpio full moon. And now I'm making connections even talking about it. Like having the Scorpio full moon during Taurus season, kind of giving
Hmm.
that like, all right, when it becomes too much, you got to clear it out. It has to be cleared
Yeah.
out for restabilization. So it's so interesting that you said that when I literally 5 minutes before jumping on here,
Yeah,
said
that's
bye
crazy.
to that reading.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
because I was
But
like, all right, like yeah, it could be a little intense or overwhelming, but it looks like there's something that needs to be rebalanced from this. And
mhm.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think too, like touching on what we know about or what we've talked about Scorpio and like how like deeply rooted that is in transformation happening in the season of like stability. Like you have to have that transformation to have stability in most cases. I mean, that could be like in a relationship or it could be in a job or like your fucking eating routine, like whatever it is.
Mhm.
But like you gotta work through this stuff to find stability. And now's the best time to do it.
Yep. And that was another thing that I mentioned during that was they got the divine physician. So that gives me indication about like your body and your mental state, mental
Mhm.
health, physical health. And, I went to massage school and I learned all these things about the body that I didn't learn in actual school. And one of the things that I felt that could correlate to this moment of Taurus season and the Scorpio full moon is pain doesn't just show up. The body
Mhm.
whispers before it screams. So, and the body does that for you to pay attention to it because it's not balanced, it's not grounded, it's not stable. So, around this time of Taurus season, because it does hold some type of lunation of Scorpio, it's going to ask you that question of what have I been ignoring? That is getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And the louder it gets, the more the stability is off and off and off and off and off. And usually people don't pay attention to things that need to be mentally healed or physically healed until they're
Mhm.
being screamed at by the body or the
Yeah,
mind.
until it's too late. There's a lot of interesting studies coming out in the last like 3 to 5 years about how like your trauma does that. And it's like heightened trauma is causing autoimmune diseases or like physical pain because it's like literally being stored in your body and you're not releasing it, which is, I feel like the same thing in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways. Yeah, that's
Once I
wild.
learned how intelligent our bodies were in healing
Mhm.
themselves, I was like, oh, so we're the ones
Mhm.
creating disaster in there. And we don't
Yeah,
learn these things. Like, we don't learn that our hormones are either like gold dripping in our body or acid dripping in our body. If you knew what cortisol and adrenaline do when they are in a constant state,
it's so
you
bad.
try your best to never stress out
Yeah.
about anything ever. It's like pouring acid on your muscles and your organs. So
Mhm.
that's why people that really hold strong resentment, they usually do end up getting a disease. And
Mhm.
that's why some people that when they do get a disease a lot of people that get diagnosed with something, they'll go to like Puerto Rico or they'll go to Mexico. They'll go somewhere that is not where the disease formed. And a lot
Mhm.
of the times they'll go to a different place that doesn't have the stresses of life and actually take that moment to heal, and the body
Well,
just
that's like
itself. It's
God,
crazy.
what's his name? We had him
Yes, Blue
on.
Mountain Tarot.
Yeah, and he went and cured what his mother had cancer and he had something. And that wasn't cancer, but he had something that
No,
was
it
really
was. Oh, he didn't have cancer yet.
he didn't have cancer. He had something else that was an autoimmune disease. I don't remember
Yeah.
what episode that was, but if you guys are watching this far, just go watch that episode because it's crazy. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah.
that could be happening around this time because of that Scorpio energy saying, like, if we don't transform this, if we don't
Hmm.
evolve out of this, we're gonna get sick or we're
Hmm.
something's gonna go wrong. And
Yeah.
that happened to me. I healed my back on my own after the doctor said they didn't know what else to do except for surgery. So
Dang.
I'm a
It's
walking
important.
advertisement for that.
Yeah, it's so important. And even if you're watching this video and it's like way past date of full moon, you can still do the things and implement them. Like it doesn't have to be peak time. Still works.
Right.
Still good
Exactly.
info. But I think that's all that we have.
Yep. If you're watching this, comment down below. How do you feel? How are you feeling during the season? We should be getting this out still while it's Taurus season.
Yeah. If you're a
And
Taurus, let us know.
yeah, drop some of your Taurus placements if you are a Taurus or have any in
Mhm.
your chart. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks guys.
Bye.